Chapter 4. The Blackwell estate was not a house. It was a statement. Emma stared through the car window as they pulled up the winding drive, her mouth slightly open. Sprawling gardens, fountain sculptures, a main building that looked like it had been airlifted from a European castle. This wasn't just wealth. This was generational, old money. We own half the city wealth. It's my grandmother's property, Damien said, as if reading her thoughts. She insisted on hosting the ceremony here. Said it would look suspicious if we got married at City Hall. Your grandmother has opinions about our fake marriage? My grandmother has opinions about everything. A slight smile tugged at his mouth. Fair warning, she's going to interrogate you. Probably within the first 5 minutes of meeting you. Great. Perfect. Because I'm not nervous enough already. Emma smoothed down her dress for the 1000th time. What does she know? About the arrangement? Nothing. As far as she's concerned, this is a whirlwind romance. We met, we fell madly in love, we couldn't wait to get married. That's not even remotely believable. She'll believe it because she wants to. She's been pestering me to settle down for years. Damien's jaw tightened slightly. Just follow my lead. We'll get through this. The car stopped in front of a side entrance, away from the main house. A staff member opened Emma's door and she stepped out into the warm morning air, her legs slightly unsteady. Damien emerged from his side with practiced ease, and Emma watched in fascination as he oriented himself. A subtle turn of his head, listening to the gravel crunch under his feet, the distance of birdsong, the echo of the building nearby. He moved with absolute confidence, and if she hadn't known he was blind, she might not have noticed. This way, he said, offering his arm. Emma hesitated for just a second before taking it. His arm was solid under her hand, warm through the expensive fabric of his suit. He smelled like cedar and something crisp she couldn't identify, cologne that probably cost more than her rent. They walked together toward a small garden pavilion where Emma could see a handful of people gathered. Her heart started hammering. How many people? She whispered. Minimal. My grandmother, my assistant Marcus as witness, the officiant, and 2 board members who needed to verify the marriage for legal purposes. Board members at our wedding. Romantic. I did warn you this wasn't a romance. You really know how to make a girl feel special. She felt him suppress a laugh, just a slight tremor in his arm. For what it's worth, you look beautiful. Emma nearly stumbled. What? Your dress. I asked Marcus what you were wearing. He said ivory silk, simple, elegant. That you looked. He paused. His exact words were, like she stepped out of a classic film. Oh. Emma felt her cheeks heat. Thank you. You look expensive. This time he did laugh, a real one, low and genuine. Expensive. I'll take it. They reached the pavilion, and Emma's nerves ratcheted up another notch. The space was beautiful, white flowers everywhere, soft music playing, morning sunlight filtering through the open sides. Intimate and elegant, exactly the kind of wedding she might have dreamed of in other circumstances. Except this wasn't a dream. This was a business transaction with witnesses. Damien. A woman's voice, warm and commanding. There you are. An elderly woman approached, tiny, barely 5 feet tall, but radiating authority like a general. She wore a pale blue suit, pearls, and an expression of absolute delight. This had to be the grandmother. Grandmother. Damien's voice softened in a way Emma had never heard before. May I introduce Emma Hart? Emma, this is Vivian Blackwell. Vivian's sharp eyes, the same gray as Damien's had been in photos, swept over Emma with the intensity of a CAT scan. Emma resisted the urge to straighten her spine even more. So, Vivian said, you're the girl who's captured my grandson's heart. Emma floundered. Damien's hand covered hers on his arm, a brief squeeze. We're very happy, grandmother. Vivian continued to study Emma. You're not what I expected. I'm sorry? Don't be. I expected some vapid socialite or corporate climber. You look like you have an actual personality. Vivian smiled suddenly, transforming her face. Welcome to the family, dear. Try not to let my grandson boss you around too much. He needs someone who can stand up to him. Emma couldn't help but smile back. I think I can manage that. I like her, Vivian announced to Damien. Don't screw this up. I'll do my best. Marcus appeared, looking uncomfortable in his role as wedding witness. We're ready to begin whenever you are. This was it. The point of no return. Emma's hand tightened on Damien's arm, and she felt him respond with another gentle squeeze. Ready? He murmured, too low for others to hear. No, she whispered back. But let's do it anyway. The ceremony was mercifully short. Emma stood facing Damien under the flower-draped pavilion, hyper-aware of every detail. The warmth of the sun on her shoulders, the faint scent of roses, the small audience watching them with varying degrees of interest or skepticism. The officiant, a kind-faced woman in her 50s, spoke about love and commitment and partnership, and Emma tried not to feel like a fraud. Do you, Damien Alexander Blackwell, take Emma Rose Hart to be your lawfully wedded wife? Damien's voice was steady, clear, showing none of the nerves Emma felt. I do. And do you, Emma Rose Hart, take Damien Alexander Blackwell to be your lawfully wedded husband? Emma's mouth went dry. This was it. The moment where she bound herself legally, financially, socially to a man she'd known for less than a week. A man who was arrogant and cold and controlling. A man who'd texted her at 2 a.m. to make sure she was okay. A man who'd gotten in the car this morning because he wanted to make sure she showed up. A man who'd just told her she looked beautiful, even though he couldn't see her. I do, Emma heard herself say. The officiant smiled. Then by the power vested in me by the state, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Emma's heart stopped. 'Cause she'd been so focused on the vows, the contract, the absurdity of the situation that she'd completely forgotten about the kiss. Damien had gone very still beside her. Clearly he'd forgotten too. The moment stretched out, awkward and tense. The small audience waited. Vivian watched with undisguised interest. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear into the ground. It's traditional, the officiant prompted gently. Damien turned toward Emma, his expression unreadable behind the dark sunglasses. He lifted one hand, reaching out, and Emma understood what he needed. She caught his hand and guided it to her face, his fingers brushing against her cheek. The touch sent an unexpected jolt through her. His hand was warm, gentle as it traced the line of her jaw, her cheekbone, mapping her face the way a sighted person might study a photograph. His thumb brushed across her lower lip and Emma's breath caught. Okay, he murmured, too quiet for anyone else to hear. Emma managed a nod, then remembered he couldn't see it. Yes. Damien leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. Emma's eyes fluttered closed as his lips found hers. The kiss was soft, brief, almost chaste. A press of lips, the faint taste of coffee, the warmth of his breath mingling with hers. It lasted maybe 3 seconds. It felt like the world tilted sideways. Damien pulled back, his hand dropping from her face, and Emma stood there dizzy and disoriented, wondering why her heart was racing over a simple contractual kiss. Congratulations. Vivian's voice broke the spell. Oh, this is wonderful. The small audience applauded politely. Marcus stepped forward with papers to sign, making it official, making it real, making it impossible to take back. Emma signed her name in a daze, barely aware of what she was doing. Mrs. Emma Blackwell. A person who didn't exist 5 minutes ago, a role she had no idea how to play. You did beautifully, Damien said quietly as they posed for the mandatory photos. His hand rested on the small of her back, warm and somehow possessive. I feel like I'm in a dream. A good dream or a nightmare? I honestly don't know yet. The photographer directed them to turn toward each other, to look happy, to look in love. Emma pasted on a smile that felt fake, but when Damien's hand found hers and squeezed gently, the smile became a little more real. Just a little longer, he murmured. Then we can leave. The reception consisted of champagne and small appetizers in Vivian's sitting room, which was larger than Emma's entire apartment and decorated with what had to be priceless antiques. Emma sipped champagne she couldn't taste and made small talk with people whose names she immediately forgot, all while hyper-aware of Damien beside her, his hand occasionally touching her elbow or her back, small gestures that looked affectionate but felt like anchors keeping her grounded. So, Emma, one of the board members, Harrison? Henderson? Said with thinly veiled curiosity, how exactly did you and Damien meet? Emma froze. They hadn't discussed this. She had no prepared story. Coffee shop, Damien said smoothly before she could panic. She spilled her latte all over me. Emma blinked. That was actually believable. And kind of cute. It was mortifying, she improvised, finding her footing. I was running late, not paying attention, and I completely drenched this poor man in caramel macchiato. I was more concerned about her apologizing profusely than about the coffee, Damien added, and there was something in his voice, a warmth that almost sounded real. She insisted on paying for dry cleaning. I insisted on buying her a replacement drink. We talked for 3 hours. About what? Vivian asked, leaning forward with interest. Art, Emma said because it was the first thing that came to mind. I just finished a design project and was complaining about difficult clients. Damien gave me surprisingly good advice for someone in finance. She called my...
If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more amazing love stories. Alright, back to the story.
Industry soulless, Damien said with a slight smile. I found it refreshing. Love at first sight, Vivian declared, looking pleased. More like, intrigued at first collision, Emma said, and several people laughed. She was getting better at this. The lies came easier when Damien was beside her, backing her up, creating a narrative that almost felt real. And when did you know, the board member pressed, that you wanted to marry her? Damien was quiet for a moment. Then softly, when I realized I wanted to hear her voice every day. That silence felt wrong without her in it. The room went quiet. Emma's heart did something complicated in her chest. That was too good. Too real. The way he'd said it, with that slight roughness in his voice, if Emma hadn't known this was all performance, she might have believed it herself. Vivian dabbed at her eyes. Oh, Damien. Grandmother, please don't cry. I'm not crying, I'm just... Vivian composed herself. I'm very happy for you both. Marcus appeared at Damien's elbow, rescuing them. Sir, the car is ready whenever you'd like to depart. Thank you, Marcus. Damien turned to the group. If you'll excuse us, we should be going. There was a round of congratulations, hugs from Vivian that were surprisingly fierce, and then they were being ushered back outside to the waiting car. Emma's head was spinning. The champagne, the lies, the kiss, the casual way Damien had created an entire romance out of nothing. It was all too much. They settled into the car, and as soon as the door closed, Emma let out a long breath. That was exhausting, Damien finished. Yes. The coffee shop story was good. I thought so. He loosened his tie slightly, and Emma couldn't help noticing how the gesture made him look younger, less controlled. You improvised well. Years of lying to my parents about where I was on weekends. Very transferable skills. He smiled. Rebellious youth? Not really. Just independent. I didn't like being told what to do. I've noticed. They sat in comfortable silence as the car pulled away from the estate. Emma watched the gardens disappear, replaced by city streets, and reality started to sink in. She was married to Damien Blackwell, and they were heading to his house, their house now technically, where she was supposed to live for the next year. Damien? Yes. What happens now? He turned toward her. Now we go home. You settle into your rooms. We establish routines. We figure out how to coexist. That's it? We just play house. More or less. He paused. Is there something specific you're worried about? Yes, Emma thought. I'm worried that kiss affected me more than it should have. I'm worried about living with you. I'm worried about the way you said you wanted to hear my voice every day, and the way it made my heart skip. The sleeping arrangements, Emma said instead. You mentioned separate bedrooms. The east wing is yours. Completely private, your own space. I'm in the west wing. His voice was carefully neutral. The contract specified appearances, not intimacy. Right. Yes. Good. Emma felt relief mixed with something else she didn't want to examine. So we're just roommates? Expensive roommates who are legally married. Essentially. Okay. Emma nodded even though he couldn't see it. I can do that. The car turned onto a tree-lined street with houses that looked more like museums. Emma's stomach tightened with nerves. Emma? Yeah. Damien's hand found hers in the space between them, his fingers threading through hers with surprising gentleness. I know this isn't what you wanted, but I'll try to make it not terrible. Emma looked down at their joined hands, his strong and warm, hers smaller and trembling slightly. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. I mean it. I know. And strangely she did. I'll try to make it not terrible. Then we have an accord. The car pulled through an enormous gate and up a circular drive, and Emma got her first glimpse of her new home. It was a mansion. An actual, honest-to-God mansion with columns and wings and enough windows to suggest at least 20 rooms. Maybe 30. Emma had lost count. Holy shit, she breathed. It's excessive, Damien admitted. But it's been in the family for 3 generations. Grandmother would haunt me if I sold it. It's like Downton Abbey had a baby with a modern architecture magazine. He laughed. That's accurate, actually. The original structure is Victorian, but my grandfather renovated in the 1980s. The result is eclectic. The car stopped and a staff member opened Emma's door. She stepped out onto pristine gravel, staring up at the building that was apparently her home now. "How many people work here?" she asked as Damien came to stand beside her. "Live-in staff?" "4. Mrs. Chin is the head housekeeper, there's a chef, 2 others for maintenance and general household management. They're discreet and professional. So we're not actually alone." "No. But they know to give us privacy." He offered his arm again. "Shall I give you the tour?" Emma had seen nice houses before. She'd even been to a few mansions for art gallery events or wealthy clients' offices. But this was on another level entirely. Damien led her through room after room. A formal living room that looked like no one had ever actually lived in it, a dining room with a table that could seat 20, a library with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and leather chairs that probably cost more than her car. "Do you actually use all these rooms?" Emma asked, slightly overwhelmed. "Not really. I spend most of my time in my office or my private rooms. The formal spaces are for entertaining, board meetings, family gatherings." He moved through the house with practiced ease, one hand trailing along walls and furniture for orientation. "You can use whatever spaces you like. Think of it as your home too. That's going to take some getting used to." He showed her the kitchen, massive, professional grade, currently occupied by a middle-aged woman who introduced herself as Mrs. Chen with a warm smile and knowing eyes that made Emma feel slightly transparent. "I've prepared your rooms, Mrs. Blackwell," Mrs. Chen said, and Emma nearly looked around for Damien's mother before realizing that was her now. "If you need anything adjusted, just let me know." "Thank you," Emma managed. They continued upstairs, down a hallway with art that was probably worth millions, to a set of double doors. "This is the East Wing," Damien said. "Your space." He opened the doors, and Emma stepped into what could only be described as a luxury apartment within the mansion. A spacious bedroom with a king-sized bed, sitting area with comfortable furniture, enormous windows overlooking the gardens, a walk-in closet that was bigger than her old apartment's bedroom, and a bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people. "This is insane," Emma whispered. "Too much. It's bigger than my entire apartment was. Like, significantly bigger." She turned in a circle, taking it all in. "Where did my stuff go?" "My boxes? Already unpacked by the staff. Your clothes are in the closet, personal items in the drawers. If anything is misplaced or you'd prefer a different arrangement, just let Mrs. Chin know." Emma opened the closet and found her meager wardrobe looking lost among the expensive built-in shelving and hanging rods. Her thrifted dresses next to empty space that seemed to be waiting for designer clothes. "I don't have enough stuff for this closet," she said, slightly hysterical laughter bubbling up. "We can address that. I don't need you to buy me clothes." "Emma." Damien's voice was patient. "You're going to be attending events with me. Galas, business dinners, charity functions. You'll need appropriate attire. I can buy my own clothes." "With what money?" "Your graphic design income?" He said it without malice, just stating facts. "This isn't about charity. It's about maintaining appearances. Consider it part of the contract." Emma wanted to argue, but he was right. She couldn't show up to billionaire events in her thrifted wardrobe. "Fine. But nothing ridiculous. I have a style and I'm keeping it. I wouldn't dream of changing it." He moved toward the door. "I'll let you settle in. My rooms are in the West Wing if you need anything. We typically have dinner at 7, but if you'd prefer to eat separately." "No," Emma said quickly. The thought of eating alone in this enormous house was depressing. "Dinner together is fine. Part of the appearances, right?" "Right." He hesitated in the doorway. "Emma?" "Yeah. Thank you. For going through with it. I know it cost you." Before she could respond, he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. Emma stood alone in her palatial new bedroom, still wearing her wedding dress, and finally let herself process everything that had happened. She was married. She lived in a mansion. She'd kissed Damien Blackwell and felt things she absolutely should not have felt. And she had to do this for an entire year. Emma kicked off her shoes, flopped backwards onto the ridiculously comfortable bed, and stared at the ceiling. "What the hell have I gotten myself into?" she asked the empty room. The room, unsurprisingly, didn't answer. Emma spent the afternoon exploring her new space, unpacking the few personal items that meant something to her. Framed photos of her family, her sketch pads, a few favorite books. She tried to make the sterile luxury feel like hers with limited success. At 6:45, she changed out of her wedding dress into casual clothes, jeans and a soft sweater, and ventured out to find the dining room. She got lost twice. The house was a maze, and even with Damien's earlier tour, She couldn't remember which hallway led where. She finally stumbled into what looked like a casual dining area as opposed to the formal one, and found Damien already there, changed into dark slacks and a simple button-down shirt, no tie. He'd taken off his sunglasses. Emma froze in the doorway staring. His eyes were gray, she'd known that from photos, but what she hadn't expected was how expressive they were despite being unseen. They didn't focus on anything in particular, but they somehow made him look more human, more vulnerable. "Emma?" He turned toward her voice. "Is something wrong?" "No," she said quickly. "Sorry. You're not wearing your glasses. I don't typically wear them at home. They're more for public appearances to make people less uncomfortable." He gestured to the table. "Please sit." Emma sat across from him, watching as he navigated the table setting with practiced ease. A staff member appeared with the first course, some kind of elegant salad, and then discreetly disappeared. They ate in silence for a moment before Emma said, "This is weird." "What is this?" "Eating dinner together like we're a normal married couple." "We are a married couple. You know what I mean." Emma stabbed at her salad. "This morning I woke up single in my apartment. Now I'm eating dinner with my husband in a mansion. It's surreal." "You'll adjust." "Will I?" "Because I'm not sure I want to adjust. I don't want to get used to this." Damien set down his fork. "What do you want, Emma?" "I want to go home. I want my life back. She stopped, frustrated. "I want to not feel like I sold myself." "You didn't sell yourself. You made a sacrifice for your family." "Same thing." "No," Damien said firmly. "It's not. Selling yourself would be giving up who you are. You haven't done that." "Haven't I? I'm living in your house, eating your food, wearing your ring." Emma looked down at the simple platinum band on her finger that had appeared during the ceremony. She hadn't even noticed them putting it on. "How is this not losing myself?" "Because you're still arguing with me. Still questioning everything. Still refusing to be impressed by any of this." He smiled slightly. "Trust me, if you'd sold yourself, you'd be agreeable and compliant. You're neither." Despite herself, Emma felt her lips twitch. "You say that like it's a good thing." "It is. I told you, I don't need compliant. I need real." The staff member returned with the main course, some kind of perfectly cooked fish with vegetables Emma didn't recognize, and they ate in more comfortable silence. "Your grandmother seemed nice," Emma offered eventually. "She liked you. That's rare." "What would have happened if she hadn't?" "Nothing. The marriage is legal regardless." Damien paused. "But I'm glad she did. She's important to me." "I could tell. You're different with her." "Different how?" "Softer. Less." Emma searched for the word. "Fortified." Damien was quiet for a moment. "She raised me after my parents died. She's the only family I have who actually cares about me as a person rather than as an asset to Blackwell Industries." "I'm sorry. About your parents. It was a long time ago. I barely remember them." He took a sip of wine. "What about your family? You're close to them." "Very. My parents are wonderful, my brothers are annoying, but I love them. Family is everything to me. Hence the marriage." "Hence the marriage," Emma agreed. "I'd do anything for them. Including marrying a stranger." "Including that." They finished dinner with small talk about neutral topics. Emma's graphic design work, safe questions about the house, carefully avoiding anything too personal or too real. As the staff cleared the dishes, Damien stood. "I have some work to finish in my office. Feel free to explore more of the house, use the library, whatever you like." "Okay." Emma stood too, suddenly awkward. "So we just go to our separate wings now? Unless you'd prefer to watch a movie or something. I have a screening room." "Of course you do." Emma shook her head, overwhelmed again. "I think I need some time alone, actually. Process everything." "Understandable." Damien moved toward the door with that uncanny confidence, then paused. "Emma?" "Yes. If you need anything, if you're uncomfortable or something is wrong, you can tell me. This arrangement may be transactional, but I'm not a monster." "I know," Emma said softly, and strangely she did. "Good night, Damien." "Good night, wife." The word sent an unexpected shiver through her. She watched him leave, then made her way back to her wing, only getting lost once this time. Back in her room, Emma changed into pajamas and climbed into the massive bed. It was comfortable, luxurious, perfect. It felt completely wrong. She grabbed her phone and texted Riley, "Day 1 of marriage complete. Still alive. House is ridiculous. Send help." Riley's response came immediately, how's the husband? Emma thought about Damien's smile when she called his house excessive. The way he'd guided her hand to his face before the kiss. The gentleness when he'd said he'd try to make this not terrible. Complicated, she typed back. Very, very complicated. Good complicated or bad complicated? Emma stared at her phone, thinking about the flutter in her stomach when he'd called her wife, the way her heart had raced during their kiss, the fact that she'd been thinking about him all afternoon. I have no idea, she finally said. And that was the terrifying truth. Emma couldn't sleep. It was past midnight and she'd been lying in the dark for hours, her mind racing. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Damien's face, the way he'd looked at her, or rather toward her, during the ceremony, the soft touch of his lips against hers, the warmth in his voice when he'd thanked her. She kept telling herself this was just stress. Adjustment. Normal reactions to an abnormal situation. But deep down she knew it was more than that. She was attracted to her husband. Her fake husband. Her business arrangement husband who'd explicitly said feelings were irrelevant. This is a disaster, Emma muttered to the ceiling. A soft knock on her door made her jump. Emma grabbed a robe, heart pounding. Hello. It's me. Damien's voice muffled through the door. Can I come in? Emma's mind raced through possibilities. Had something happened? Was there an emergency? Did he need something? Did he expect? No. He'd said separate bedrooms. He'd been clear about boundaries. She opened the door. Damien stood in the hallway in pajama pants and a t-shirt, looking nothing like the intimidating billionaire and everything like a normal man who couldn't sleep. His hair was messy, his feet bare, and he wasn't wearing his sunglasses. Is everything okay? Emma asked. I couldn't sleep. He shifted his weight, looking uncharacteristically uncertain. I heard you moving around. Thought you might be awake too. How could you possibly hear me moving around? We're in completely different wings. The house has excellent acoustics. And I have very good hearing. A slight smile. Also, I may have been walking past your hallway. Coincidentally. Coincidentally. Complete coincidence. Emma found herself smiling despite the strangeness of the situation. Want to come in? He hesitated. Is that appropriate? We're married, Damien. I think we can break the rule about not being in each other's bedrooms. Fair point. Emma stepped back and Damien entered her space. He moved carefully, orienting himself to the unfamiliar room, and Emma guided him to the sitting area by the window. They sat in comfortable chairs, the city lights twinkling below them through the enormous windows. Why couldn't you sleep? Emma asked. Thinking. About? Today. The wedding. You. He ran a hand through his already messy hair. This is not how I expected things to go. What do you mean? Damien was quiet for a long moment. I thought this would be simple. A contract, a transaction, two people coexisting politely for a year. I didn't expect. Didn't expect what? He turned toward her, and even though his eyes couldn't see her, Emma felt the full weight of his attention. I didn't expect to care whether you were comfortable. Whether you were happy here. Whether you could sleep. Emma's breath caught. Damien. I know. It's not part of the arrangement. Feelings are irrelevant, I said that. He laughed, but it sounded frustrated. Apparently I'm not as good at separating business from personal as I thought. That makes two of us, Emma admitted quietly. His head tilted slightly. What do you mean? This was dangerous territory. But it was past midnight, and they were both exhausted and emotionally wrung out, and Emma was tired of pretending. The kiss, she said. During the ceremony. It was supposed to be just for show, right? Right. It didn't feel like just for show. Silence. Damien's hands gripped the arms of his chair. No, he said finally. It didn't. Emma's heart was hammering so hard she was sure he could hear it. So what do we do about that? I don't know. He sounded genuinely lost. The contract said. Forget the contract for a second. What do you want? Emma, that's not a fair question. Why not? Because what I want and what's appropriate are two very different things. He stood abruptly, agitated. You're here because of a business arrangement. Because your family needed money and I needed a wife. Anything beyond that is what? Emma stood too, facing him. Complicated? Messy? Real? All of the above. He turned toward her voice and they were suddenly very close. You deserve better than a husband who can't even see you. Who's using you to secure an inheritance. Who? Stop, Emma said firmly. Stop telling me what I deserve. I'm a grown woman. I can decide for myself. Then what do you decide? It was a challenge but also a genuine question. Damien stood there, vulnerable in his bare feet and messy hair, waiting for her answer. Emma thought about all the reasons this was a bad idea. The contract, the time limit, the fundamental inequality of their situation. She thought about Riley's warnings, about her own fears of losing herself in this arrangement. Then she thought about the way Damien had gotten in the car this morning to make sure she was okay. The way he'd created a beautiful love story about spilled coffee and 3-hour conversations. The way he'd said he wanted to hear her voice every day. I decide, Emma said slowly, that we're already married. That we're already living together. That we already care about each other more than we're supposed to. Emma? I'm not saying we have to figure everything out tonight. But maybe... She took a breath. Maybe we stop pretending this is purely business. Maybe we acknowledge that it's complicated and messy and we don't know what we're doing. Damien reached out and Emma met him halfway, guiding his hand to her face like she had during the ceremony. His thumb traced her cheekbone, gentle and questioning. I can't promise you a fairy tale, he said quietly. I'm not good at relationships. I'm controlling and difficult and I don't know how to. I don't want a fairy tale, Emma interrupted. I want honesty. I want you to stop treating this like a business merger and start treating it like what it is, two people trying to figure out how to live together. What if we can't? What if we try and it falls apart? Then at least we tried. Emma covered his hand with hers. I'd rather fail at something real than succeed at something fake. Damien was quiet for a long moment, his hand warm against her face. Then softly, when did you become so brave? About 30 seconds ago. I'm terrified actually. He smiled and it transformed his whole face. Me too. So what now? Now. Damien's hand slid from her face to her hand, threading their fingers together. Now we take it one day at a time. We're honest with each other. We stop pretending we don't feel things we clearly feel. And the contract? The contract still stands. You still get your own space, your independence, everything we agreed on. But privately between us. He squeezed her hand. We can be whatever we want to be. Emma's heart was doing gymnastics in her chest. I can live with that. Good. Damien lifted her hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to her knuckles that made her shiver. I should let you sleep. You could stay, Emma heard herself say. Then quickly, not like, I mean just to talk. Or sleep. Separately. In the same room but not. Emma. His voice was amused and warm. Breathe. She laughed, slightly hysterical. This is weird, right? This whole situation is completely insane. Completely. He tugged her hand gently. Come on. If I'm staying, we're doing it properly. He led her to the bed, and they climbed in on opposite sides, a careful distance between them. Emma lay on her back, hyper-aware of Damien beside her, his warmth radiating across the space. This is very platonic, she said to the ceiling. Extremely platonic. Very appropriate for a business arrangement. The most appropriate. They were both quiet for a moment. Then Emma said, Damien? Thank you. For being honest tonight. For not just keeping everything cold and distant. His hand found hers in the dark, linking their fingers together. Thank you for calling me out on my bullshit. Emma smiled. Anytime, husband. Good night, wife. They lay there in the dark, hands joined, not quite ready to examine what this meant or where it was going. And for the first time since this whole crazy arrangement started, Emma felt like maybe, just maybe, this could actually work. Emma woke to sunlight and a warm weight against her side. Damien had migrated during the night, his arm draped across her waist, face pressed against her shoulder. This is not maintaining boundaries, her brain helpfully supplied. She should move. Wake him. Establish limits. Instead, she lay still, hyper-aware of every point of contact. Damien stirred, his arm tightening before he seemed to realize their position. Good morning, Emma said. Where? You migrated. Around 3 a.m. I'm sorry. I don't usually. He started to pull away. Emma caught his arm. It's fine. I didn't mind. You went very still. Emma? It's just sleeping, Damien. We are married. You know what I mean. But he didn't move away, his hand finding hers. Are you embarrassed? She asked. I'm not accustomed to wanting to stay. He opened his unseeing eyes. Usually I wake up and immediately want my own space. But right now I'm trying to figure out a socially acceptable reason to not move. Emma's breath caught. You don't need a reason. We can just be comfortable. Finally, Damien sighed and sat up. I should go. I have calls this morning, but lunch together? Start establishing routines? Routines. Very romantic. He smiled. Lunch at 1? Sure. At the door he paused. Emma? I don't regret it. Any of it. The week fell into unexpected rhythm. Mornings apart working. Damien would text random thoughts. Damien, Marcus just said synergistic paradigm shift. I'm considering firing him. Emma, you'd have no employees left. Damien, tempting though. Afternoons meant lunch together. Emma discovered Damien was actually funny without his CEO mask. You bought an entire company because the CEO was rude to you? Emma asked on day 3. He implied I was incompetent because of my blindness. I thought it would be educational for him to work for a blind man. That's petty and vindictive. Thank you. Not a compliment. Wasn't it though? Evenings, dinner then movies. Damien had terrible taste in action films but excellent taste in noir thrillers. Why did it explode? Emma demanded on day 5. What was the plot reason? Does there need to be one? It's an action movie. Yes. Things should happen for reasons. She grabbed the remote. We're watching something else. It's my house. Our house. And I refuse more explosions. How do you feel about romantic comedies? Damien groaned. Please no. Too bad. You made me sit through 90 minutes of explosions. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is marriage, Blackwell. Get used to it. Nights got complicated. Despite separate bedrooms, they kept gravitating together, talking until 3 a.m., always ending in the same bed, maintaining distance that disappeared by morning. This is becoming a habit, Emma said on night 6. Bad habit? He asked. Don't know yet. She squeezed his hand. Doesn't this feel weird? We barely know each other. We've been married 6 days. We know morning routines, food preferences, movie tastes. How well do people usually know each other before sharing a bed? We did this backwards. We've done everything backwards, heart. Might as well commit to the chaos. Their first charity gala arrived with camera flashes and invasive questions. Emma wore emerald green, felt expensive and beautiful, and was immediately interrogated by board members and Damien's ex-girlfriend Vanessa. He doesn't do love, Vanessa warned in the bathroom. He'll use you, then discard you when you're no longer useful. Emma wanted to argue but wondered if it was true. Back home that night, Damien found her in her studio. Bad day? Emma asked. Endless. I wanted to see you. He moved into the room carefully. What are you working on? She guided his hand across her laptop screen, describing her logo design. His fingers traced the shapes as she explained. Your voice changes when you talk about your work, he said. Gets excited, passionate. It's nice to hear. You're being weird today. Soft. Sweet. I had lunch with my grandmother. She said it's obvious I'm in love with you. He moved closer. I told her that was ridiculous. Love doesn't happen that fast. Emma's heart stopped. Right. Ridiculous. Except, I'm not sure she's wrong. Damien. I know what we agreed. But somewhere between the lies and midnight conversations and waking up with you every morning, I've completely failed at maintaining distance. His hand reached out. I'm falling in love with you, Emma. Have been since you called me arrogant and didn't back down. This is crazy, she whispered. Is it? We're already married, already living together, already can't stay out of each other's beds. How is acknowledging feelings crazier than pretending they don't exist? Because when the year ends, contracts can be renegotiated, extended, made permanent. He pulled her closer. Unless you don't feel the same. Tell me now and I'll back off. Emma looked at him, this powerful man, vulnerable and sincere. I'm terrified. Of what? Of this. Of how fast I'm falling. His hands cupped her face. What if I catch you? You can't promise that. No. But I can promise to try. He leaned his forehead against hers. Take a chance on me, Emma? Okay, she whispered. Okay, let's try. Real marriage, real feelings, real us. Kiss me? She pulled him down, and this kiss was nothing like their wedding. This was deep, searching, real. When they pulled apart, both breathless, Damien smiled. I have a confession. I've wanted to do that since the wedding. Why didn't you? Fear you'd think I was manipulating you. His hand slid to her waist. I want you in every way, Emma. But the emotional connection isn't manipulation to get physical. That's the most romantic way anyone's told me they want to sleep with me. No pressure though. We can go slow. What if I don't want slow? She said. His hands tightened. You're going to kill me? Take me on a date. A real one. Tomorrow night. Any preferences? Surprise me. Nothing too fancy. Damien took her to the arts district, to Lucia's, the Italian restaurant where Emma used to go with Riley. He'd called Riley for recommendations, researched Emma's world, wanted to understand her better. Over carbonara and wine they played the get-to-know-you game. Biggest fear? Damien asked. Losing people I love. Becoming someone I don't recognize. You. Same. And losing independence. Is that why you pushed people away after the accident? Pride. I didn't want to be seen as weak. His thumb stroked her knuckles. What's your dream? An arts center for kids. Community space where young people could explore creativity regardless of cost. She shook her head. Completely impractical. What if it wasn't? You have vision, passion, talent. I have resources. We could make it happen. I'm not taking your money. It's investing. In you, in something meaningful. Think about it. After dinner, they walked through the district, Emma describing murals and galleries. At her favorite park, a pocket of green with string lights and a fountain, she showed him her gesture sketches. You capture moments, he said. Little snapshots of life. Making the mundane meaningful. Like we're doing. Taking this temporary arrangement and making it meaningful. She leaned against him. When did you become a philosopher? When I married an artist who makes me think differently. After a pause, he said quietly, I don't want this to be temporary. When the year is up, I want to renegotiate. Make this permanent. That's a big decision. I know. I'm not asking you to decide now. But I wanted you to know where my heart is. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. You're going to ruin me for all other men. Good. That's the plan. She kissed him there in her favorite spot, with the fountain splashing and string lights twinkling, thinking that maybe business arrangements could turn into love stories. Maybe they were going to get there happily ever after all.